morning, compliment of the season. This is TMI Socials, and I am Anu Stevens, or better still call me a social media butterfly. Now let's begin with the biggest story right now making the rounds on social media. So, a Nigerian man who has spent 10 years on a death row for stealing chicken and eggs has been promised pardon by the governor of Osun State. Segun Olowoke was 17 years old in 2010 when he was arrested along with his accomplice Sunday. They were said to have attacked the home of a police officer and another person with an old-fashioned wooden gun and a sword, but only got away with the poultry. In 2014, Justice Jide Falola of the Osun State High Court sentenced the two to death by hanging after finding them guilty of forcefully breaking into the police officer's house and stealing his belongings. And guess what the belongings are? Chicken and I think four eggs, sort of. But interestingly, this case sparked reaction on social media. The governor of Osun State saw it and took into action. But let's have the video of the mother sharing her ordeal.
Sentenced to death by hanging in Osun State for stealing fowl. It's on Google. You can search for it.
ọmọ orílẹ̀-èdè nàìjíríà mo rìnrìn àjò kan ní ọdún kan mi mọ̀ pé mo lè padà délé ni wọ́n gbé mi lọ nígbà tí mo débẹ̀ bórí mi ṣe tó mo ní tó tírí àjò ibà ti ẹ̀pin síbi ṣùgbọ́n kọ́mọ mi ó sá jáde peter ti rìn dé lórí ọ̀rọ̀.
Moving over to how you reacted to this interesting story. Our first reaction from this user who has this to say: who in their right sentences a man to death for stealing fowl? In this same Nigeria, where people who have milked the country dry are walking freely, stealing is bad, but justice must be fair and balanced in a sane society. Another reaction on the story: King Premier says, now wow, Nigeria. If them explain Nigeria give you and you understand that explanation, you get mental problems. You hire bello with the billions, they smell for court. Person still found a death sentence, then give them. Whew, interesting. One more take. Suliu says, any judge that has the mind to pass this kind of judgment needs his head to be checked. Please also ask him if this boy were his own, will he support this kind of verdict? Now, really, that's a big question. Away from that, let's move over to another story. This time around, China executed Lin Changping, a former official in the Inner Makolo Autonomous Region, on Tuesday. Changping was convicted in the largest ever corruption case in the country, totaling over $421 million. According to the Indian Express, the death sentence of Li, former secretary of the ruling Communist Party's Working Committee for the Whole-Heart Economics and Technological Development Zone, was initially issued in September 2022 and upheld on appeal in August 2024. Well, you are aware that in China, if you get to do anyhow, it's pretty much easy to get you killed. And now this is what has happened to this particular guy, as he has been sentenced to death by hanging. Let's see another couple of reactions to this particular story. This user here in Nigeria says, it is not rocket science. No country needs prayers to flourish. When they implement consequences for actions, it's that simple. Another user below says, China don't play. That is why their economy is flourishing, pretty much. Moving over to other take in the story. This user says, tribalism and religious bigotry will never allow that to happen in Nigeria. Nigerians are still hoping and calling on God since 1960 till date, and he is laughing out loud. Moving over to this user on X, he says, if we execute people who commit crimes, how can they learn anything? It doesn't seem right to teach the value of life by taking it away. The idea of killing people to stop crime will never stop being weird to me. Well, take on the story. Well, still here in Nigeria, a couple of things happened yesterday at the National Assembly. And to let you know, the members of the National Assembly disrupted an attempt by some of their colleagues to sing President Bola Tinubu's anthem on your mandate. Now, during the joint session of the Senate and House of Representatives for the 2025 budget presentation by the president. Well, the incident occurred shortly after a prayer. To commence the proceedings, some lawmakers began singing the anthem, sparking resistance and uproar from others in the chamber. Well, let's take a look at what happened at the National Assembly yesterday.
Remain steadfast on the journey to a prosperous future. I hereby present the 2025 budget to the joint section of the 11th National.
So that was our president yesterday, where he said, I hereby present the 2025 budget to the joint session of the 11th National Assembly. And then the lawmakers reacted by saying, we are 10th and not 11th. And then President Tinubu went further to say, 10th? I wrote 11th, which means you are all re-elected. And that was a jubilation and excitement there. But let's move over to the other video. And the lawmakers were chanting, on your mandate, we shall stand. And interestingly standing on your mandate. How did you react to this on social media? Let's have a look. Our first reaction from this user who says, and I quote, the three arms of government are in unity. One could assume checks and balances are now out of the window. They are all on the same team. Wani has Instagram. Still on Instagram, Mercy says, national anthem changed to the mandate of the president. We never start. Another reaction on this one. Still on Facebook, this user says, why are you people so terrible? You never see the progress of this country for once. But sitting down looking for flaws, the president has to say, whoever has written this will seek retrogression in his endeavors. I am not a politician, but seek for the great Nigeria for once. Hashtag battle for Nigeria. Well, away from what happened yesterday at the National Assembly, do you know that if you have a dog, or maybe you just recently bought a new dog, you need permit for your dog? Now in this trending video, we get to see a police officer questioning a man about his license or his permit for his dog. Take a look.
I just buy a nana for Amazon. I just buy am. No. Stop the buy person, but this dog never buy person.
Dog they get license. If you don't get license,
okay, you go carry and go your office. I go come your office. I know your office. I go come your office. You go carry and go office. I go carry and go come your office.
Now let's go over to X, where we saw the PPRO, that's Adejobi Muyiwa, come out to react to the story, where he categorically gave reasons, and he yes indeed say that yes indeed you have a license for the dog. If you could just have that on the screen pretty much in full. Well, Olumuyiwa Adejobi says dog laws in Nigeria include dog licensing. The dog law of the Federation and the Lagos 1943 requires that all dogs be licensed within 6 months of ownership and the license valid. Okay, now let's go over to reactions and see how you took the story online. This user says, these laws are designed to protect everyone, but the lapses I see here is that most people are not aware of them. Because the laws are not enforced or consistent, the Animal Care and Control Department should use this as a teaching opportunity and create an information awareness campaign and encourage citizens to license their pets. The licensed pet should come with some perks and insurance benefit for father encouragement. Okay, so now you know. This user says, sitting innocent dog inside carton, wondering how he got to Nigeria. Still on the story, let's move over. Mr. Chip Chip says, if you don't have the dog license, who will police arrest? Is it the dog or the owner? Anyway, that's how we get to wrap up TMI Socials this morning.